Hey guys, it's Nashra Nightosphere, and welcome back to Buried. So on the last episode, guys, our group is still trying to make our way to the head honcho of this entire facility, but that monster that was literally about to eat our guts and giblets out, guys, we just escaped from it. So if you don't mind, guys, we're just gonna roll right back into this, even though it's been well over a month of another upload of this thing. But that's okay, guys. Don't forget to leave a like if you like this video. And I'm just gonna binge play this, guys, so let's get into this. When we reach the hangar doors, I get a true sense of how impenetrable they are. A computer terminal is mounted on the wall nearby and has a blinking red light. Any idea what this means, I ask? It's an automatic lock. A fail-safe from the lockdown, Amy says. I've never been down here before, Marcus says. If I had known this door was here, I would have opened it earlier. How? Amy asked. The fear in her voice is more present than ever. From the command center, he says. You need to override from there first, then you use this terminal to open the hangar doors. The command center on the second floor, I ask. Yeah. Amy shakes her head and lets out a nervous laugh. Are you kidding? She asks. We just pulled that high hall. Are you kidding? She asks. We just pulled that high. Are you kidding? She asks. We just pulled that hydraulic door and blocked off the hallway, remember? If we want to get into the hangar, we have to get back to the command center, Marcus says. Isn't there another way? Turning to Marcus, Amy replies, well, there's another elevator, but we'll need to go through the biochem storage. We need to stay with Dennis so he can rest, I say. You two can go, you know your way around the place. And you know the controls, Marcus. Fine, but we'll need to be armed. They are making their way around the facility, and gee, should we give Amy the gun or Marcus the gun? We know Marcus more, and he's not trigger happy. You give Marcus the gun. We trust him. I hand Marcus the rifle and he turns to go. Amy gives a concerned look, but follows along behind him. Once Amy and Marcus make a good distance down the hallway, Dennis lets out a nervous laugh. And then there were two, he says. Dennis looks much better, but he still needs to use the wall to stay standing. Didn't Amy say that there were guns and emergency kits in the maintenance room near the hangar doors, I ask? Yeah, I think so, says Dennis. He looks exhausted. I look ahead and see a door to the right that reads maintenance. Might as well give it a try. I go to the door, try to open it, and find that it's locked. Kick it down or push it with your shoulder. If we kick it down, it might cause like more sound, and so those entities, quote-unquote entities, might find out where we are. So let's try to go for a more subtle action and push it with our shoulder. I give it a hard shove, but it doesn't budge. I'm about to try again, but that's when I hear a dry choking sound from just down the hallway. It's barely audible, but it's not my imagination. My first thought is that it's one of those things, one of those monsters. but after calming my nerves and reassessing, it sounds more like a person. I think about how angry and on edge Amy was when she turned to leave, as well as how scared Marcus had looked. Alarm bells sound in my head, and before I know it, I'm heading back down the hall, away from the hangar doors. Stay here, I'll be right back, I whisper over my shoulder to Dennis. See if you can figure out how to get that maintenance room. Get into that maintenance room. Where are you going? I don't bother answering him as I bound through the door where Amy and Marcus went. I tell you, man, if Dennis dies, it's on you. It's on you, Roger. It's on you, man. I think that's his name. Either Roger or Alan. Oh, blood. Oh, no. A lot of blood. A lot of blood. As I enter the biochem room, I start walking between the massive silos. I wonder what classified chemicals could be inside them. I'm fully expecting one of Amy's creatures to come flying out from the intersection of halls up ahead. I think I hear something. A skittering noise, like something moving quickly. I run ahead so fast that I almost trip over two people in a life or death struggle. My mind tries to process what I'm seeing, but it makes no sense. None at all. Marcus is on the floor with Amy pinned beneath him. He has the rifle at her throat, pushing her down to the floor and choking her with it. Her face is turning purple and her eyes look like they might pop out of her head. Marcus sees me coming out of the hallway, but acts as if he was doing something perfectly normal. What the crap, man? I gave you the gun. I didn't expect you to choke the woman. No, you're supposed to protect her, not choke her. What the crap, man? Of course we're gonna stop him. I start rushing towards him before I really know what I'm doing. I bring my fist down in a hard arch across the bridge of his nose, and I'm rewarded with a thick crackling sound. He cries out and falls to the ground, looking at me if he doesn't understand why I punched him. On the floor, Amy clutches at her neck and gasps for breath. Gasps. I start to fear what I was a moment too late. Just as I see that rifle has been thrown across the room, Marcus seems to notice this at the exact moment as I do. Go for the rifle or hit Marcus. He might try to... I'm hitting him. I'm hitting this dude. I deliver a surprisingly strong blow with my right hand, clipping his chin from an awkward position. But I'm in the process of planting a knee in his chest to hold him down when his left foot comes out of nowhere, landing hard. A kick catches me squarely in the ribs, knocking the breath out of me. What the crap are you doing? He yells at me. By killing her, I'm saving us. All of this is her fault. I sense that he truly believes this, but if that's the case, then why not just shoot her rather than strangle her with a rifle? The answer is simple. We would have heard the gunshot, and I, or those things, would have come running. He wanted to kill her quietly, and then what would he have done? The same to Dennis and I? It seems fitting, really. When we first came upon Marcus, he held a gun on us. Oh, that's so true. He did hold a gun on us. He really did. He almost killed us. Gosh. I'd been so relieved to see another human being that I had underestimated just how unhinged he was. Marcus and I both dive for the rifle still lying on the ground, and I start wrestling for possession. But I'm not confident I'll come away with it. As we struggle, he starts inching the muzzle of the gun towards my face, a position I do not want to be in. I start pushing back hard, but if this thing accidentally fires, I'm not sure I prefer the bullet to go, especially in a room full of chemical tanks. Oh, gee. This is a big one. Oh, goodness. This is a big one. Oh. Basically, if we kill... Oh, my goodness. We could risk getting us killed or risk getting Marcus killed. I have to point at Marcus. He's too much of a loose cannon, and he literally almost killed Amy for no apparent reason. The girl didn't do anything wrong. I am so sorry, Marcus. Oh my goodness. I grunt as I push the muzzle to point towards his face. Realizing he is literally looking down at the barrel of the gun, Marcus ducks his head out of the way. This makes him lose his leverage, allowing me to yank the gun from his grip. I get to my feet as quickly as I can, swinging the rifle back around on him. For a moment, I think I've knocked him out, but his eyes flutter, and he looks at me as if I've betrayed him. Her people, he says. It was them that did this. She deserves to die. She did this. I look to Amy and I wish I could help her. I'm relieved to see that she is managing to draw in a few breaths. Her legs move as she tries to push herself into a sitting position. You wouldn't know, Marcus says. You didn't work here under their secrecy. You didn't know what it was like, what it was like to. He surprises me by lunging towards me, leaping from the floor like a human projectile. I didn't have time to aim carefully. I have to act fast. We could shoot him, or we could dodge. I'm not going to risk those creatures coming after us, especially if Dennis is alone. They might find him, and they might kill him. If we shoot him, it might just even bring the creatures towards Dennis. It might kill Dennis, and it might kill myself and Amy. I'm going to try to dodge. His aim is poor and his strength is failing, so I dodge him easily. I don't want to have a gun go off and alert those creatures to where we are. Make a hard jab of the butt of the rifle, striking him in his chest. Something crunches and he lets out a whoosh of air. He crumbles for a moment and then goes to his knees. He roars in pain on the floor. Only after a few moments, I realize that they are not purely screams of pain. The bastard is calling for them, calling for those creatures to come for us. This place is evil along with everyone involved, he wails from the floor. If you are taking her side, then you deserve to die too. Oh my word, this escalated so fast. If you want to stop me, you better do it now, you coward. The rage in his eyes at Amy as well as towards me for stopping him makes me think that he'll deliver on his threat. I raise the rifle again, every urge in my body wanting to make sure he doesn't come back to bite us. But I'm not a violent man. I could easily not kill him and just leave him behind. Oh my word, guys. I didn't expect this to... Oh my goodness, this has escalated so fast. I don't know what to do. Do we kill Marcus? And then bada bing, bada boom, he's not a problem anymore. Or if we let him live, he might come back to bite us in the booty. And then we're all just done for. Ah, gee. Oh, man. I have to think about this. I really have to think about this.
2 hours later.
Okay, guys. I'm not going to kill Marcus. The reason why I'm not going to kill Marcus is mainly because I want to keep everyone safe. Marcus can go die, okay? He can just kill himself. Those creatures can go after him. But I want to keep Dennis and Amy safe. Dennis is by himself, and he is the most vulnerable one at the moment. If they go towards Marcus, at least he's bringing in all of them. Versus if I kill him. Oh, gee, I don't know, because I really don't know. He could literally come back and kill us. He can come back and kill us. He wants us to die. He literally wants us to die. Oh, man. Like, he literally, like, he could literally set off these chemical tanks. Oh, gosh. Okay, guys, I'm not gonna stay all day on this, but I'm really leaning towards wanting to actually just shoot him. But I'm going to go with my gut feeling. I'm going to go for the pacifist, guys. I'm not going to kill him. I'm gonna let him live. And whatever I do, guys, if I let him live, he might come back and bite us. He might come back and kill us. But that's something I'll have to live with. That is something I'll have to live with. You decided to let Marcus live. Just like when I could barely shoot earlier as he was coming at me. I couldn't bring myself to deliver to a kill shot. I ignore him and lean down to Amy. You okay? She nods slowly. Have to go, she says, her voice raspy. They'll be here any minute. Too much noise. I have to hold her arms so she can get to her feet. We start forward. I think of Dennis. We should go back to the hangar doors. I say, I can't just leave Dennis there. There's no time, she says. Oh no, you need to come with me and up to the command center now. We'll be able to come back for him soon. You'll all be dead anyway, Marcus shrieks. If they don't get you, I will, he says. He laughs manically after saying this, hooting like a madman. As if in response, a high-pitched noise tears through the hallway. I seem to feel it in my bones. They're following his noise now, Amy says. She takes off away from Marcus, presumably towards the other elevator she had mentioned moments ago. I follow her. As we move out, I hear Marcus slowly push himself off the ground to stumbling, slipping between the tanks and disappearing. We start running after a few strides. Another noise sounds. It sounds mechanical, but at the same time, it also reminds me of the recordings I've heard of the whale songs. A sound of metallic creaking and crashing echoes through the door I came in through. And they reached the hydraulic door we pulled, Amy says, confirming what I'm thinking. The sound grows louder, and it's clear they're struggling with it, which is good. We have a bit more time. I speed up my step to follow Amy as she leads the way to the other elevator. She's panting furiously and pushes on. I can hear something rattling in her breath. Likely it's the result of Marcus' attack. This makes me imagine how his cold, uncaring eyes must have looked, staring down at her as he tried to deliver her death. How she's still forging on is beyond me. I'm sorry about Marcus, I say. It's not your fault, she interrupts. When you handed him the gun, you didn't know he would use it on me. I just hope we can find a way to survive this mess. Yeah, we're just gonna say, yeah, we'll be fine, don't worry. I'm not so sure, she says. Her eyes fixed straight ahead. I'm not sure I can blame her. I had just wanted to say something encouraging, I guess. We finally come to the elevator at the end of the row of silos. The elevator doors slide open slowly. At the moment, we hear something behind us, a strangled sort of whistling sound. I step inside and turn and face the biochem room. Thankfully, we're given a few moments to spare. The elevator's doors remain open for 3 seconds before they start sliding closed again. In those 3 seconds, I see a large floating towards a large floating shape floating towards us. A phosphorescent-like white glow outlines a impossible shape. Behind it is another shape that also entered the biochem room, and another. The third one breaks away from the other two, taking a quick right. It moves with eerie speed. That is the direction Marcus had gone. Oh! Honestly, the thought of them hunting him down doesn't bother me in the slightest. Amy is pushing the button to close the elevators over and over, but they stay open for what seems like an eternity. I curse whoever designed these darn doors. Hide inside the elevator or stand in the doorway ready to shoot. We can't fight these things. We cannot fight these things. We are just going to hide. Amy and I slide ourselves up against the sides of the elevator, trying to avoid being seen, but I can't help peeking around the corner. Oh my word! I hear the rifle. I hold the rifle steady, ready to fire, and that's when I see them in the clear light for the first time. I can see their features, their shape, and their colors, but my mind cannot quite process it all. Nothing about them makes any sense. My eyes try to see a squid, but that's not what these things are. They're gray and white and seem to be nothing more than a squirming light. Their appendages are neither legs or nor tentacles, but somewhere in between. They don't walk on these appendages, but they use them to glide. They might move like ghosts, but to jerk every few feet or so. But I'm pretty sure that the jerking effect is not a result of their moving, but my mind's inability to understand how they are moving exactly. It's also more than their appearance that makes a mockery of reality. The light around them seems to bend inward, as if their space within the room has to reshape itself for their existence. That peculiar effect in the air makes their movements seem like something moving underwater, only faster. They screech in unison as they rush towards the elevator. They'll be inside here in another few seconds. I check the rifle and see that the ammo is diminishing. I have to start saving my ammo. I have to start saving my shots. I'm going to have to choose. I'm going to have to be choosy. Shoot at the creatures or don't shoot. Save ammo. I remember in the beginning of the game how we saved the battery. We didn't use the battery life on our phone just immediately, but we saved it and then we used it later, and it really saved our butts. So, but they will be in the elevator. Oh my gosh. The elevator will close. It's gonna close. I'm gonna trust that the elevator is gonna close. I'm gonna trust that the elevator is gonna close. I'm gonna trust that. You decide to conserve your ammo. They keep advancing. Even though I know that the doors may not close in time, I manage to keep my cool and avoid firing off any more rounds. My finger itches to pull the trigger, but I resist. I'm not even sure if the gun would affect them. Finally, the elevator door closes. The creatures wash against the other side of the door, making an electrical noise and crying out in anger. The tips of their spider-like appendages poke through the wall and the elevator door, but for some reason they can't get all the way through. Amy screams at this and curls into a ball in a far corner of the elevator, crying. I say nothing to her. I just cling to the rifle, hoping those creatures don't find Dennis as he waits by the hangar doors where I left him. For his sake and ours, we need to get them open. Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness, I knew I made the right choice. I knew it. I knew I had to make the right choice. Oh my goodness, that's something else. I thought that I wouldn't make the right choice, but apparently I did. But guys, even though we're ending chapter 3, we're gonna keep on going, because you know what? Why not? Why not, guys? We're gonna keep on going. Apparently, oh my goodness, Marcus, you're oh my gosh, Marcus. The funny thing is that there's actually a subscriber named Marcus. It's so funny. I love you, Marcus. I love you, man. The blunt truth. You and 59% of the players told Dennis he'd probably be fine. Slowed them down. You and 35% of the players sided with Amy in pulling the hydraulic door down. Why only 35? Who to trust? You and 31% of the players. Oh, I'm the minority. Yeah, okay. Murder or mercy. You and 58% of the players left Marcus alive. Now or later. You and 68% of players conserved your bullets for later instead of shooting the creatures. Okay, so I was in the minority with the 1 and 2. I don't understand how some people wouldn't want to bring down the hydraulic door. I mean, you think that you want to slow them down instead of them chasing you, because you know me, guys, I was in track, but guys, I only did 100 meters. I cannot do a 400-meter run. That thing killed me. Okay, that thing killed me when we had to go to state. I was just like, I was dead. But anyway, guys, let's jump into chapter 4 and let's get started, guys. It's gonna be a bumpy ride, so let's bless up and hush up and let's get into this, guys. The ride up the elevator is tense. I take a series of deep breaths, doing everything I can to stay in control. Amy has gotten back to her feet, but her head is pressed against the elevator wall as she suppresses a series of sobs. I find myself trying to remember the way those creatures looked, but my mind seems to shudder at the effort. I have something that is an impossibility, a mockery of what I know is real. This fills me with a terror that dwarfs anything else I have felt since discovering the facility. I try to focus my mind on something else. I remember Marcus' threats. I wonder if we'll see Marcus again, I say, mostly to myself. Do you think Marcus got away from those things? Amy asks. I sort of hope not. Me too, she says, looking at the ground, her arms folded. So, I say, how do you end up here? She gives a nervous chuckle and shrugs. I used to work with the Pentagon. It was some pretty upper echelon stuff. that I still cannot discuss. I assume this place is even more upper echelon, I said. This place isn't even on the scale, she answers. My other job was a cakewalk compared to this. Then why stay, I ask. Because of the money is ridiculous. I have a 13-year-old daughter already talking about Harvard. You do the math. Harvard, huh? How ambitious. Or any other kids? Let's try to lighten the mood. Oh, I know. Oh, I know. She's a force of nature. Her dad ran off when she was 3, so for a long time it's been just her and me. She pauses, before continuing softly. What if I never see... Her voice breaks off. The words too terrible to say. Her eyes fill with tears. The elevator comes to a stop. The slight ding of it interrupting the moment. Amy hesitantly wipes her eyes, and we waste no time getting back inside the command center. Okay, guys, so for a fact, we gotta make sure Amy lives. We gotta make sure Dennis, I'm pretty sure Dennis had like a family, right? They both have his families. We need to get those two out alive. If not Amy, I'm sorry, Amy, but we also gotta get our homeboy Dennis out, okay? We gotta get our home skillet sliced biscuit, alright? Oh gosh, I just hope he's not dead or anything. I ready the rifle suddenly, certain that there are more of these creatures waiting for us in the hallway of the 2nd level. But the way is clear, allowing us to haul butt to the command center. Once again, I find myself staring at the screen that shows my ruined work site. Okay, Amy says, typing commands rapidly. It can't be that hard. I keep peeking over my shoulder, my senses feeling as if the monsters are sneaking up on us, mere inches away. But then I think of Dennis and wonder how he is faring back on level 3. Is he safe? I look back to the screens and see that Amy has finally found what she's looking for. A prompt on the screen says override of hangar doors, and all level 3 locks requires a clearance code. Amy types a number with shaking fingers, and the screen goes black for a moment. The moment the words override confirm come up on the screen, Amy jumps up from the chair and heads out of the room. We have to be quick, she says. We have exactly 20 minutes to open those hangar doors. What happens in 20 minutes? What happens in 20 minutes? The lock will kick in again. Security measure. I couldn't do anything about it. I follow her out of the command center and bound back down the hallway towards the same elevator that brought us here. Amy punches the elevator button, and the doors slide open. We're taking this same elevator back to the biochem room, I ask. Those creatures are still down there. It's the only way back down, Amy, she says. The only way is blocked by those hydraulic doors we pulled. Hopefully the creatures left. Hopefully. Oh my goodness. So if I didn't pull the hydraulic doors down, we could have taken another elevator. Oh gee. Okay, I see how this is. Oh gee. I probably should have shot Dennis. Not Dennis. But I probably should have shot Marcus. I really should have shot Marcus then, if that was the case. Oh. Oh, because that was like 2 chapters ago or something. Neither of us say anything else as we share a look of immense dread. We step back into the elevator and head back down to the biochem room on level 3. I basically screwed us over. Oh my goodness, I realize what I've done wrong. Oh no. As the elevator doors open, we peer out, looking to see if the creatures are still in the area. But it's clear. When Amy looks at me, her eyes are clear and strong. Marcus wasn't entirely wrong, Amy says, as we start walking back towards the hangar doors. About what? I ask. About how I'm particularly to blame for this. You're right, you are? Like, girl, we know you are to blame for this. Your existence is to blame for this. Okay. Or why? No. Some of the things we do here, it's crazy. We should have known that one day something like this would happen. Everyone here within knowledge of what goes on level 3 is to blame, she says. It's a secret, the government facility. Hidden from the tax-paying public, I say. Doing crazy stuff, dangerous stuff. So yeah, I mentioned something before. You're insane. And you're particularly to blame by just working here. So why don't you just tell me a bit more about what does go on level 3, I ask. Are you familiar with the large Hadron Collider over in Switzerland? I've heard the phrase, but that's about it. It's a powerful particle accelerator, she explains. Right now, they're using it to try to create what's called a dark matter. It's theorized that this dark matter actually makes up the majority of the universe, but the parts of the universe are very different from ours. My guess is the people at LHC will probably create their first dark matter particle in about 2018 or 2019. Guys, that's only a year or 2 away. Okay. Here in this facility, we're able to create one almost 10 years ago. It was the key to our research. What does this have to do with some, okay, what does this have does this have something to do with those things, or what does this matter do? Well, we still don't know all there is about dark matter or other matter. We have yet to identify. These creatures could be made of it, or maybe they are some even more exotic matter. If dark matter is reasonable, there's no real answers to have. I scratch my head. So you're saying this dark matter helps with what? Opening up other dimensions or something? That's the theory, she says. During the point to transfer, the subjects are gone for about 3 to 6 seconds. There's no way to see or measure their presence, but they exist somewhere. From what we can tell, they exist in a kind of void. Have you done this with people? We have sent human subjects through. Almost all of them have returned successfully. I make an involuntary grimace. Almost? There was one man, Dr. Kahana? Dr. Kahana, who didn't return. We don't know where she trails off, taking a moment to collect herself. Sorry, I asked. I say, feeling my mind to start to bend inward again. As we continue to walk between the silos, we walk past the area where we left Marcus behind, but he's long gone. Maybe he found a way out. Oh no. I realize that we're walking very close together between the silos, perhaps trying to create the illusion of safety. We reach the exit connecting to the hangar doors, where Dennis hopefully still is. My gut is clenched and my heart hammers in my chest. As we open the door and walk through, I left the rifle, but at first it seems that there is nothing waiting for us. And that's when I see the glowing, hulking shape to my left, closing in fast. Oh no. Oh no, please don't kill Amy. Please, please, she has to go see her daughter again. Oh crap. Oh man. The creature is about 10 feet away and coming in quickly, so I do the first thing that comes to mind. I drop to the ground, making myself a smaller target, and raise the rifle. I'm not sure if I should just unload on the bastard or try to be choosy with my shots and weaken it, or at least slow it down. Let's not shoot to kill, we have to save our ammo. I want to save the ammo as much as possible. Shoot to weaken. My shot causes the entity milky white shape to jerk to the floor. It flounders, its ghost-like tentacles writhing with rage as it cries out at me. It seems to turn and jerk away, parts of it appearing and disappearing every few feet. It moves down the hall and out of sight. I quickly look around for others, but there is only Amy. She looks at where the monster went with wide eyes. Her face is pale, and I wonder if, like me, she is able to feel her mind trying to retreat. Come on, I say. Let's find Dennis and get through these hangar doors. Amy glances at her watch and nods. We're already down 6 minutes. Oh goodness. We turn towards the hangar doors, and I am a little disgusted with myself because the bloody scene that so shocked me before seems so mild. Amy goes to work on the computer console on the side of the doors. She starts punching in the keys before saying this. It is going to take some time. I thought you already unlocked it, I asked. I did, she says, but for the door there's still security permissions I need to hack. Marcus would have known how to do this. She trails off and I decide to let her work. Suddenly something slams into me. I feel my feet leave the floor and I am literally thrown across the concrete. I look up in time to see one of the creatures, apparently in no hurry to attack me again, focusing on Amy instead. She's not armed. I need to come up with a plan to get this thing away from her so she can focus on getting the door open. It raises one of its flickering appendages, making me certain that part of its makeup is pure light and energy. I could easily take a shot with my rifle, but my mind again goes to how much remaining ammo I have. The only other thing I can think of is to get it to chase me and lead it away from the room somewhere. Oh, goodness. The thing is, if I try to distract it, it may not even follow me. It may want to just go after Amy instead because she's just standing there. But I do want to save the ammo. Oh, gosh. No. We have to shoot. We have to shoot it because there's no guarantee that it's going to follow us. There's no guarantee that it's going to follow us because when Amy was running away, the thing literally stared at her and it went back to killing that other guy. And so, you know what? We're going to shoot it. I left the rifle groggily and fire as quickly as I can, not having a good footing and still reeling from the attack. The aim is off, but the noise of it distracts the monster from Amy. The monster turns to me and I'm again face to face with something that has no business being in this world, in this reality. Its body gives off a sort of glow around the central part. A bulbous cord that is branched off into two humps, very much like a spider. Again, I sense that this visual information is not accurate, but that the best I can do to make the sense of this impossible creature. I pull the trigger again, the shot taking the monster directly in the center. It spasms backwards and lets out a shriek of agony that makes my ears feel like they'll explode. From somewhere very close by, another creature cries out in response. "You okay?" I ask Amy. I can clearly see her battling for control of her facilities. Steel determination wins out, and she gives a grim nod. "Any sign of where Dennis went?" I ask, hoping she hasn't noticed his body somewhere. "No," she replies. It's then that I realize that I have no idea how many rounds I have remaining in the rifle. This isn't a model I'm familiar with, outside of some deer hunting. I'm not much of an expert in firearms. Still, I'm able to locate the chamber easily and see that there are 4 rounds left. Ugh! I'm an idiot! I'm an idiot! Oh gosh. Not great, but it could be worse. 4 rounds! Dude! How are we gonna live? "How are we on time?" I ask her. 4 minutes. "I'm going as fast as I can," she says. Amy does her best to focus on the keyboard, but there is still no sign of Dennis. Before I have time to look around, a screeching sound interrupts from the other end of the room. I bring the rifle up to the shooter's stance and turn. With the hangar's doors right of me, no signs of Dennis, and a closing window of time, I have to be confident. Yet, when 2 monsters come around the corner, my body wants to shut down. The appendages seem to jump up in time and space, reaching out for a split second independent of the body, and then disappearing back into where they came from. It turns and screeches at me. Its glowing tentacles snaking out of its body. My knees tremble uncontrollably. Behind me, Amy shrieks. I feel myself losing control, my mind sliding into an abyss of insanity. I pull myself back from the brink. I've got to stay in control. Turn away or shoot them. Why would we turn away? Why? I don't know why it gives us the option to turn away. That's what I don't understand. Why would we turn away? Is it because we're going insane? We'll find a gun. We'll find a new gun. We have to find a new gun. We'll find a new gun. I step away from Amy and the hangar doors towards the monster, ready to defend her. I ready my rifle, but the creature wastes no time. It makes that jerky motion towards me, and there's a sharp pain in my chest that collides with me, or through me. It's hard to tell. Oh! My instinct is to try to grapple or hold this thing down, but then I realize I don't even know if it'll work. Try to get away or try to grab the creature. We're going to defend her. I try to grapple with the creature, but it feels very difficult from the struggle with Marcus earlier. It's not easy. It's not easily grabbed. My fingers slide through the parts of it. Some parts like a ghost, other parts like a jellyfish. Touching it burns my hands, but only slightly. When I realize I can't grip it, I quickly spring away and turn to face it. With a scream of defiance, I raise the rifle and put a round in its core. The shot lands dead center, and the light inside of it flickers almost violently. It falls back against the wall, issuing a hiss of its telltale static noise. It then jerks away and retreats, at least for now. Another terror appears as if out of nowhere, screaming at me with its high-pitched whine. It bounced forward, charging in its strange, spastic way. I aim the rifle, intending to take this one in the core too. I take several shots, but it's still coming at me. As it slams into me, I realize that I only have one bullet left. On contact, the wind is knocked out of me, out of my lungs, and the back of my head strikes the floor. But neither of these things is alarming at the beast on top of me. Its exterior is like a seashell that has been pounded by the surf for so long that it has lost all edges and ridges. But the grip of it tries to capture me with its pure violence. I feel this light-soaked appendages start to wrap around me. I raise the rifle, knowing it's still have one shot left. The weight of the monster is erratic. One moment I feel weightless, another I feel like I am going to be crushed. I push upwards with the rifle to aim at it, but it's overpowering me. I'm not sure I'd be able to get the effective shot off. I see the core of the body, a spider-like shape, connected to the rest of its thin white strings of tissue. I know I'll be dead within seconds unless I can manage to shoot, but I don't know where to aim. This thing has already survived for so long. Gee, I'm not even sure. Because if we shoot it in the center, it might not die, but if we shoot in the tentacles, it's not like it's going to do anything. I'm not sure. Oh my goodness. We're gonna actually shooting it in the center with all these things always seem to do something with it. Okay guys, so I made up my mind. I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna shoot it in the center. The creature is seconds away from tearing into my shoulder, but I have to stop it now. I grunt as I try to angle the rifle in the direction of the beast's formless core. The appendages begin to tug down on the barrel, and It's at the moment I pull the trigger, unleashing the final shot. Thank goodness I've saved this bullet earlier. The shot aggravates it enough to win me. The shot aggravates it enough to win me some breathing room. I've saved my shoulder, but this thing's still alive and kicking. But when I see the creature extend its tentacles in a violent, whip-like motion away from me, but then I see the creature extend its tentacles in a violent whip-like motion away from me while it makes that static screeching noise. The creature disappears into the thin air and reappears a few feet from me, retreating. With a shudder and a cry of desperation, I get to my feet just in time to see the monster head into the direction of the biochem room. Amy looks over at me from her terminal at the hangar doors, looking petrified. I manage to help myself up when I see a figure nearing us, but to my relief, I realize it's a human figure. Dennis with the gun! Hey, yes! Yes, Dennis! Yes! You okay, boss? He asks, but his eyes aren't on me. They're looking at the creature, trying to understand exactly what he had just seen. About 15 minutes ago, I heard the door to the maintenance room unlock. Dennis says, pointing at the room he tried to bust. I tried to bust my way into earlier. Amy says, when I did the override in the command center, it unlocked all small doors down here, including the maintenance room. I went inside there and I hid, Dennis continues, and while I was waiting for you to come back, I found a massive trunk. There were a few guns in it, so I grabbed this one, he says, patting his shotgun. I'm glad you're safe, Dennis. I'm glad you found some weapons. I'm glad you're safe, man. I'm glad you're safe. Thanks, boss. Me too. She doesn't break eye contact with the panel. Almost done, she replies. Suddenly, without warning, a shot ricochets off the wall behind Amy's head. Startled, we look around, confused. Did Dennis' gun go off? When another shot blasts near us again, we all drop to the floor. It is Marcus. I knew it. This man is going to get me killed. Oh my goodness. I look around wondering who or what could possibly be shooting at us. Those creatures don't do anything that sounds remotely like gunfire. And then I see him. Marcus. I should have killed him when I had the chance. He has a rifle and is walking towards us, an insane look in his eyes. You all deserve to die, he screams, unleashing another round that I heard whiz by my head. Dennis doesn't hesitate. He stands up and shoots at Marcus, causing him to retreat. I'm sorry. I'm doing my best, she says, fighting through the Oh, I'm sorry, Amy. I'm sorry. I was so mean to her. I was like, open the door. Open the Anyway, she makes a few final key presses and says, done. The doors open with a noise of hydraulics and a whoosh of air. With Marcus pinned down by Dennis' gunfire, we start moving towards the doors. At that moment, another creature jerks into existence around the corner between us and Marcus. Crap! Marcus says, and starts unloading into it. But he learns the same lesson we did. The only thing this only slows the creature down. Marcus gives us one look and then turns and runs off in another direction. Dennis, Amy, and I climb up and head through the doors, moving on nothing more than adrenaline. I see her longingly at the entrance at the maintenance room Dennis took the shotgun from. You get into the hangar, Dennis says. I'll get some more firepower. Satisfied with the plan, Amy heads through the door. We scramble inside, finally inside the hangar. Dennis approaches from behind, holding several guns and looking like a kid who grabbed an armful of Halloween candy. Amy reaches out for a 9mm with one hand. Dennis turns to me and holds out a shotgun and a handgun for me to choose. Both look deadly. The shotgun looks more powerful, but the handgun will probably be more precise. We'll take the handgun. You took the handgun. I select the handgun, and I am comforted by the way it seems to fit perfectly in my shaky grip. There are more creatures coming, as many as a dozen. They're floating down the hall quickly, their tentacles slithering. The way their light seems to mingle together is almost beautiful. Close the door, I yell at Amy. She dashes to another terminal mounted on the inside of the hangar doors and tries desperately to close them. It's not working, she says with tears in her eyes. The terminal is... It's not working, she says with tears in her eyes. The terminal is disabled. Dennis looks through the open doors, readying himself to shoot the first monster then nears us. Should we try to slow a few down or just run for it? He asks. Ready. No, let's not. Let's just run for it. Run for it. Good idea, Amy says. With that, we turn around and sprint out of the hangar floor. Oh my goodness. This is intense, guys. This is just really intense. But, guys, I just want to say we have to leave it in suspense. Thank you so much, guys, for sticking around and watching. It's crazy. A lot happened in this episode. Marcus betrayed us and then tried to kill us and almost killed Amy. And then we almost died, like the 50th time that we almost died. But, yeah. If you guys are here until the end, I would just want to say, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and leave a big fat thumbs up on this video if you like it, guys. I love each and every one of you, and thank you for sticking around and watching Buried with me and going through this story. Next time, if I'm doing something like this, I would love to live stream it, so y'all could also be able to pick choices, and it's not just gonna be me. So if we make a bad choice, we all did it together. It's not just on me. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the Nightosphere. Bye, guys.